Who are you without the culture influencing your choices? Let me go ahead and put this.
Bones, meaning if you look at my barber and you see how now he probably would have a beard but he got a baby face. But if you bring your beard down to my length, right? Because this beard comes from a trend. It comes from a fad that we seen happen. And y'all have earrings, right? You notice I don't have earrings and I don't have a nose ring. You notice I don't have the big beard. You notice I don't have the little nappy fro that guy's wearing. And I don't have a blonde dye in my hair. When you go to your bare basics of who you are as a man without what culture has told you to be, that's when you find yourself. And that's when you can easily see a woman. But when we are a product of pop culture, then we don't know who we are. So then we can't begin to ask the question, how to find a wife, what to look for in a wife. So we ask those things because we literally are looking up to grown boys. We're looking up to fatherless men who have not healed. Nothing wrong with being fatherless because we don't get to choose that. Or motherless. We don't get to choose that. We don't get to choose if we go through trauma as a child, if somebody touches us as a child, if somebody abuses us, if somebody bullies us. We don't get to choose that, but we get to choose healing. So what happened is we have so many men who have not healed and they have a microphone. And when you think about that, that's the most dangerous thing in the world, to allow someone who's bleeding to go spread their blood on millions of people, and their blood is infected with an infectious disease, and now they spreading it, and that's what we have today. So what y'all first should do for y'all is find yourself and look in the mirror and look at every single thing that you have, the way you dress, everything, and then ask yourself, is this comfortable for me? Like,
All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Who are you without the culture influencing your choices? Go ahead and start with you first, Tresman. What are your thoughts about that?
I couldn't really get into a lot of the stuff he was talking about with the styles and the trends, because uh, I mean, we all fall into that. Even what he was doing himself, it was a trend at some point. He just got stuck in it. So, that is what that is. Now, as far as people being out here who haven't healed yet and are spreading poison, that's a real thing, right? We have men and women who are guilty of it. Some people in the manosphere, man, like you've heard of the red pill rage. You see some people who, and you can tell just by listening to them that a lot of people who are giving advice, sometimes they don't really have the experience with women. You can tell that they would get out there in the field and bomb out and not do anything, but they're advising people. A lot of people, they watch what some people are already putting out, and then they'll try to just emulate it, right? And there's a lot of that. And once people get a certain amount of following, then people just start to believe you, right? No matter what type of poison you're spewing out here into the atmosphere, once you are popular enough, you get enough likes, you have enough followers, you get over 100,000, then people just believe almost everything you say. Right? You're always going to have your naysayers, but there's a good following. If there's 100,000 people following you, then that means that you are influencing them, right? That's why they call us influencers, because we're literally influencing people, right? We try our best to steer them in the right direction, but if we don't know, and we don't know what we talk about, who's to stop us? So it's a dangerous thing. I would encourage anyone who is in the business of influencing to actually do your research, right? And you have to experience it. There's nothing like wisdom. You have to experience some things. I try to stay within any niche that I know what I'm talking about, things that I have actual life experience. And I don't just try to tell people things because I saw somebody else say it and then regurgitate that. Of course, we back things with statistics and data, but you should have some type of experience before you start to tell other people how it is they should conduct themselves in their lives, because it can be a dangerous thing. And a lot of us are raised by single parents, right? We're looking at 70, 80% of us. So a lot of us are missing that foundation. that family foundation, everything that makes you into the man or woman that society should appreciate. And we don't have that. And sometimes people find this as an outlet, right? You being on social media could be an outlet. But then once you have people who listen to you, then they'll ask you for advice and you give it. And they're like, oh, okay, okay, okay. It's hard to turn that down. It's hard for you to stop it. You're just going to continue to do it because now people are depending on you for this and you don't have the answers, but you don't want to tell people you don't have the answers. So you try to get the answers. And meanwhile, you got people running around here that don't know what they're doing. They're following a leader who needs a leader.
All right. Marcus White, what are your thoughts about that, sir? Who are we without the culture influencing your choices?
I think nowadays people don't even realize the amount of programming that they fall victim to, right? So if you look at a TV, right, all the commercials that feed in, they feed your impulse system. They feed the things that you feel you should have, right? If you do something as simple as a lot of us disconnected and start just using YouTube or other online mediums, right, and limited the commercials, I bet your spending habits decrease when you did that. That's just how influential some subconsciously like that could be implanting the idea in you and you run with it. Um, I think as Black people, we have a culture that we subscribe to, and we try not to veer out of it for fear of ridicule amongst each other, right? And in doing so, I think people definitely lose themselves. That's how we fall victim to this hyper materialism. That's how we fall victim to, oh, you bought an X3, that's a baby mama car. You should have got the, or the X5, that's a baby mama car. You should have got the X7. We get to judging each other from a lens that's primarily from a culture, but it's not our culture, right? So what he's talking about, I think is spot on. Sometimes you got to disconnect from everything and be able to sit with yourself, look yourself in the mirror and be happy with who that person is. Be able to sit in silence, be able to just sit with your thoughts and self reflect and determine who you are. And I honestly don't think a lot of people can do that, will do that, or have the desire to do that because these dopamine hits, the things that the coach rewards you for, we constantly running back to and constantly getting a hit from. Yeah, I don't think many people have independent thought. I really don't.
Hmm. Okay. So Jones, who are you without the culture influencing your choices? Can't hear you. You on mute?
Yeah, Cloud.
No, we can't hear you.
Cloud, you're still on mute.
I'm gonna come back to you. Go ahead, Luis.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this. Popular culture shapes and molds a lot of men and a lot of women, especially at a very young age. There's the power of radio, podcasts, TV, movies, magazines. It's everywhere. Popular culture is spread everywhere on all types of mediums. And it does shape, but you have to have a sense of identity. And I think that sense of identity comes from the home, right? It comes from the developing a foundation of who you are and what your family is about and what your family name stands for. And those things cannot be taught outside your home. You know what I'm saying? You need to be prepared for the things that come outside your home. And I have to, Trev, I have to kind of challenge you a little bit. I kind of disagree a bit with, with the influencers, because people who influence are people who teach people to follow them in their footsteps rather than inspire people to find themselves in their own process, right? It's like creating a cult-like following to shape yourself in the image of that influencer rather than that person inspiring you to shape yourself into something that is better than what you were before.